Check some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as on YouTube. I hope everyone is having a fantastic start to this Wednesday morning. Now, we've got two games on deck. Let's quickly touch on what we saw out there on the ice last night. Now, Connor Hellebuck, well, can we say he disappointed, or did the offense also disappoint out there? We did see one soft goal out of him, but 2 of 4 on the power play for the Dallas Stars. Just not what Winnipeg needed to be able to win that game. They couldn't allow the Dallas Stars to go on that power play. We knew it was going to be deadly. Granlund able to get the hat trick out there. He played a phenomenal game, and I'm just really disappointed in with what we saw for Winnipeg and their fans. So Jake Ottinger stopped 31 of 32 shots. And the biggest story for me here is the lack of ability to convert on that power play for the Winnipeg Jets. We saw that Winnipeg Jets team in the regular season have the best power play in the whole league. It's fallen flat. It's like 1 of 16 right now, you guys, in the playoffs. So disappointed to see. Now, this series isn't done. It's not dead in the water. And when we look at the teams who are sitting in the position to close, to get eliminated, with the Winnipeg Jets, the Dallas Stars, and the Winnipeg Jets, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Washington Capitals, I do have the most faith in the Winnipeg Jets out of all 3 of those teams. So we're going to get into tonight's games here. Winnipeg, hold your breath for that next game returning home. We'll see what happens out there. Good morning, Hal. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It was a small wager last night, small losing night. Yeah, you got to go small in the playoffs here for sure. Thank you, John. Good to see you here today. Let's have an awesome day for sure. Good luck tonight to everyone as well. Okay, so we've got 2 games, right? So we have a 7 p.m. puck drop between the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. This series tied 2-2 apiece. So Florida has the momentum, but they're looking to come into Toronto and get a win, something that hasn't happened. The home team has won every single game of this series. And then that late game, Edmonton looking to close things out. They are a dog coming in on the road, with everyone expecting Vegas to get that bounce back win here at home. Something I'm not expecting. So let's jump into these games. Let's jump into where I'm going to be putting my money. Obviously, it's going to be on Edmonton tonight, which, as a Calgary fan, doesn't make me feel good. The Kings, I'm upset with for not finishing that series off quick versus Edmonton and allowing Edmonton to stay around in the playoffs. Let's look at the Florida Panthers versus Toronto. Toronto, a plus 120 underdog here at home, and that's a hard one not to look at the Toronto Maple Leafs with what we've seen on their home ice. They've been strong on their home ice, but I do think Florida, with momentum, has the ability to come in here and get the win. The Florida Panthers are a minus 144 road favorite right now. This total sitting at 5.5. Now, I'm very cautious with the 5.5 for this total. It's minus 120 to the over, minus 102 to the under. What we saw in that last game out of the Florida Panthers, they were able to get that 2-0 win, getting the shutout win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bobrovsky playing an elite game in goal. When we look at how that game broke down, we did see Florida convert on one of their 6 power play opportunities, 0 of 3 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we're really seeing scrappy play out here. 9 penalties out there on the ice, with the majority of those penalties coming against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They need to keep their heads on straight if they want to be able to get this win at home. But are they going to be able to do so? That block shot market, we did see more block shots out of the Toronto Maple Leafs, with 18 versus 12 out there for the Florida Panthers. The faceoff was completely controlled by the Leafs at 63.5%. Physicality-wise, really pretty even here. 47 hits for the Leafs compared to 40 for the Panthers. So in this game, I'm expecting Bobrovsky to really stand nice and tall. Now, we do have question marks around goaltending, and let me just see. Joseph Woll in net for that last game. and fans really wanting Stolarz to be able to come out here back on the ice, but just not sure if we're going to see him. Now we are seeing Wall listed on FanDuel for his props. Joseph Woll's total saves coming in at 25.5 to the under at plus 100 to the over at minus 132. Interesting to see that prop on that over at minus 132. When we look at the shots on goal in the last game, though, it makes sense. The Florida Panthers were able to hit Joseph Woll with 37 shots on his goal. We did see the return back there for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were able to get those shots as well. Bobrovsky coming in at 22.5. If I'm going one way or the other with the goalies, it would be Bobrovsky over the 22.5 save shots on goal. Even though the Florida Panthers are getting more block shots, I think Toronto with last change would be able to get a couple more shots in this game. So Bobrovsky over 22.5 save shots on goal at minus 122 would be the way I would go with the goaltending. Looking at this game as a whole, though, I do think Florida is able to get the win. Now, minus 142 on the money line. You guys know that's not something I would like to sign up for. There's a couple ways I think you can take this. I do think Florida can win this in regulation. The regulation brings that money line down just a little bit, but I do think if they're winning it in reg, they're winning it with an empty netter. The minus 1.5 on that puck line for the Florida Panthers right now, plus 176. I will put a little bit of a sprinkle on. I also think you look at the Leafs team total. The Leafs team total under 2.5 goals coming in at plus 102. I do think they struggled to go over that number in this game. Bobrovsky should be stellar between the pipes when we look at the defense here and how they're able to lock down of the Florida Panthers. And I do think we see that lockdown again. Now, that being said, I think we get off to a hot start. I think this hot start comes in the first period, and then we see the 0-0 in the second period. I will look at the first period over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 122. I'll put a little bit of sprinkle on both teams to score in the first period as well at plus 168. I think we get the fast goals, one out of both teams, and then we lock down in that second. If we do see that hot start in this game, as I expect, I will be coming back in on the live bet of that under 1.5 in that second period. And we're going to get great plus money for that. I do think it will balloon this total if we get those goals, especially straight out of the gate in that first 5 minutes. And then we can take an under, but I'm really cautious with an under because I think the Panthers win this 4-2. We've got a 5.5 right now. If this one shoots up to a 7.5 or a 6.5, then I would be coming in on it because I think we do hit a solid number of 6. Looking at these players right now, Nylander, we know, is leading the Toronto Maple Leafs, 6 goals, 15 points. We got Mitch Marner with 10 assists. They really need Austin Matthews to come alive in this series, in this game here tonight. If they have the opportunity of winning, I'm just not seeing enough out of him to be able to bet him. So if you're looking at someone here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, you got to go back to Matthew Knies. I love what Matthew Knies has been able to do out there on the ice. Now, remember, this should be a really scrappy series with Matthew Tkachuk telling Nylander he's coming after him after that hit on Barkov in the last game. Knies answered back, what about me? So you know Knies is going to get into the mix. I think Knies answers with a goal tonight. So look at Knies for one of those 2 goals that I'm only expecting out of Toronto. So not much wiggle room here when you're looking at props here on Toronto for me. On the other side, though, I will look at Sam Reinhart to be able to net a goal tonight and Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk has been very quiet as of late, and we know Matthew Tkachuk is such a leader for this team, for the Florida Panthers, and I do think he's able to get it done tonight. So let's just look at those odds on those goal scorers there to give you the numbers that they're at right now. Matthew Tkachuk's coming in at plus 195, plus 190 for Sam Reinhart, hitting on both of those. And then I'll look at Matthew Knies at plus 270 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you want to look at John Tavares, I think Tavares is another really strong look here. For the Leafs, he's coming in at plus 200, but this should be a great matchup between 2 really solid teams. I'm excited for it, that is for sure. Kristen, good to see you here. Let's have a day. That is for sure. Mo, good to see you as well. You're feeling some goal scorers. Anytime goal parlay for us. Yeah, if you're looking at goal parlays, I would look at one from each team from this matchup. I would take Knives and I would take Kachuk because I do think they're both going to answer back, but we'll get into that next game as well. I think we got some goal scorers in there. Kev, good morning. Glad the Ripper, good morning to you as well. Ashley rolling with the Dogs today. Let's see what Toronto has. You know, they've won every game at home, and yeah, the playoffs, they just hit so freaking different. That is for sure. Let's move on to this matchup between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. The Edmonton Oilers up plus 108 dog on the road, looking to close this series out tonight. And this Oilers team, it breaks my heart as a Flames fan. You guys, I think they pull it off. They get the win, and they probably cover the out puck line. Laying 1.5 on that out puck line will get you great plus money. I think this series is over and done with Vegas. I don't see that urgency, and I just can't see a way of them getting the win. Edmonton is just too strong right now. The depth of this team, and Skinner has been performing. You got it. It's worrisome here. I would love nothing more than Vegas to make a comeback in this series, win the next 5, 6, 7, next 3 games and be able to get things done here. Taking the series in 7, I just don't see it happening. If you're holding on to Edmonton to take this series, you got to feel pretty confident with your bets right now. We know anything can happen out there on the ice, but with how Adin Hill's been performing, I'm not buying into it. We got a total of 6.5, minus 128 to the over. Again, caution with a total when you're liking one team. Plus 104 to the under. We know that the Edmonton Oilers are going to bring that offense. Bruce Cassidy really emphasized the desperation just hasn't been there for his offense. They haven't been generating those shots. They haven't been generating those second chances, and they need to do so, especially through the neutral zone. They need to find a way through through these defenders in the neutral zone, because they're getting caught up. They're turning that puck over, and then Edmonton is rushing in, and they're just peppering out here Adin Hill. Adin Hill, his numbers are not good. He has a 3.15 goals against average and an 876 save percentage in this series, and it's just not strong enough. I think you take this a couple ways. If you don't want to take Edmonton on the money line at plus 108 for the win, I don't blame you, because Vegas, with their backs up against the wall, should be a deadly team. I'm just not buying into them. They have been strong in the Fortress during the regular season, but Edmonton has been a team that can win in the Fortress. They won game 1. They won game 2 here in the Fortress. The overtime game was in that game 2. The game 1, we had an empty netter. It was 2-4. Game 3, we saw Vegas answer back with seconds left, getting the win instead of that game going to overtime in Edmonton. And then Edmonton won game 4, 3-0. They controlled 59.3% of those faceoffs. They went 0-2 on that power play. The kill has been elite here for Vegas. The power play, absolutely electric normally for the Edmonton Oilers, struggling to convert. I do think that conversion is coming tonight as Edmonton fires it up to the next level. If Edmonton is firing it up to the next level, who are we looking at? Of course, Connor frickin' McDavid. Connor McDavid out here. He's had 1 goal in the first 4 games. I'm looking for the goal tonight. Plus 160 for the anytime goal for Connor McDavid. Now, you could look at the 2+ points for Connor McDavid, but it's only minus 106 for 2+ points. I think he gets there. He's only scored once in the first 4 games, but I do see that goal loading. 2+ goals for Connor McDavid. Definitely not out of the question. I will be sprinkling on the 2+ goals. Let's just pull up those odds for those 2+, because I cannot remember what we were getting. Goals, 2+ goals for Connor McDavid at plus 1,000 all day long. I do think he is able to get something done. Now, Jack Eichel really hasn't been impressive to me in this series for Vegas. If Vegas has any opportunity tonight, we need to see Jack Eichel be able to step up. I will stay off Vegas. I'm staying off Vegas. I'm staying off the props. I don't think this team has what it takes here to shut down the Edmonton Oilers' explosive offense, and that's where I'm going to go. My best bet in this game is just taking Edmonton over 3.5 goals. It's coming in at plus 128. You're getting more money on Edmonton over 3.5 goals than the money line. So if you like Edmonton, you think they win it, they have to win this one by scoring 4 goals, in my opinion, because I do think the chance of the empty netter. 4-2 win here for the Edmonton Oilers gives us that out puck line as well, laying 1.5 goals. So the out puck line for the Edmonton Oilers, if you want to get crazy with me and take that out puck line, because you guys know I'm doing it, it's plus 240. I think they win this 4-2. I think they really lock down the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, if you're looking at Vegas's team total, under 3.5 is coming in at -128. I don't see them scoring 4 goals in this game. That is another way you could definitely take it. The under 3.5 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. Skinner, while I don't trust him, I trust this defense that we've seen in front of him as of late. Only 23 shots were allowed by Edmonton in that last game, and Skinner able to get that shutout. He wasn't that stellar. It was the defense in front of him. So something definitely to look at there with Stuart Skinner. But Skinner, with that confidence rolling into Vegas, I do think that this is a game where Edmonton goes over their team total of 3.5. Vegas goes under their team total of 3.5. Edmonton covers the alt puck line, laying 2.5 at plus, or laying 1.5 at +240. And they finish this one in reg. So that is where I'm going. Connor McDavid is my favorite player prop in this one. Connor McDavid for the anytime goal at +160, 2+ goals at +1,000, and then Leon Draisaitl for 2+ points at +132. Now, I do think you get better value on the other guys, but in this closeout game where I think Edmonton closes it out, I'm looking at the superstars to be able to get things done. But we know that we have looked at Henrique, Evander Kane. Evander Kane steps up to a new level in the playoffs as well. Corey Perry, Evan Bouchard. The depth here of the Edmonton Oilers, now that this team is healthy, is so freaking dangerous that I don't think they can I don't think Vegas can take them down, especially with Mark Stone still. I'm not sure if he's hitting the ice. If he does hit the ice, he's not going to be 100%. Jack Eichel isn't performing. And the playmakers here for Vegas just are not showing up. Teams know how to beat this team now. So it's going to be a great matchup. Knicks gentlemen sweep tonight. Yeah. I took the Knicks. It's only +158 on the money line, and then plus the 4.5. I am looking for a great game out of them in a lower scoring one. So let's do the recap of everything on the ice, and then you guys have a freaking great day today. Let's make some money. Florida versus Toronto. I think Florida gets the win. I do think there's a couple ways to look at it. The Florida Panthers are too juicy on that money line for me. I don't love it. I do think you look at the Florida Panthers, on the puck line. Let me just pull up those odds again. Puck line, Florida Panthers -1.5 at +176. I think it's really tight to that because they get the empty netter, which gives them the puck line win. So laying the 1.5 at +176. I like the Leafs team total under 2.5 goals. It's coming in at +102. Yes, I know it can be dangerous, but I do think the Florida Panthers lock down on the defensive side. Even though this gets off to a hot start, I'll take the hot start over 1.5 in the first period at -122. Both teams to score in the first period at +168. Another way you could play this, if you do believe that this first period starts off hot like I do, that Leafs team total will move. The under 2.5, you're going to get insane plus money at that point once they go up 1 goal in that first, especially if it's early, because the books then think their opportunity to go over and hit 3 goals is there. So definitely something to look at if you just want to live bet that team total for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because I do feel like we're going to get a quick goal out of both of these teams. I will look at Sam Reinhart to score a goal, Matthew Tkachuk to score a goal, and then for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I got to roll with Nyes to score that goal. The Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights, I do believe Edmonton closes it out tonight. Give me Edmonton's team total over 3.5 goals coming in at +128. I think that's the best bet. Win or lose, I can't see Edmonton not scoring 4 goals on Adin Hill. He just hasn't been himself, and the Vegas Golden Knights cannot slow down the superstars or any of these lines it's looking like here for the Edmonton Oilers. I will look at Connor McDavid for that explosive game. 2+ goals at +1,000, 1 goal at +160. If you just want to do his points, I think he gets there because I'm looking at multiple goals for him, but it's -106. So that's why I'm going with the 1 goal, the 2 goals for Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl for 2+ points at +132. But I do think looking at those playmakers, Evan Bouchard, Zach Hyman, Evander Kane, and Corey Perry on those secondary, third, fourth lines is another solid way to go. I just can't trust Vegas. They're not putting enough pressure here offensively on Skinner, and I don't think they're able to get it. Jack Eichel would be where you would want to go if you're looking for someone from Vegas, but it's definitely going to be a great night. Knives, Tkachuk, and Connor McDavid at 2025. I love where you're going with that. I really do think Connor McDavid, Matthew Knives, and Matthew Tkachuk have every ability to hit the back of the net today to light that lamp. So great plus money parlay. If you're looking at that anytime parlay for those anytime goals, look at their points as well tonight. I know Connor McDavid's is going to be through the freaking roof, but if you look at them for their goals, if they get the assists, you're going to be a little upset that you didn't put a sprinkle on just the points tonight. So definitely a way to look as well. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you so much for joining me here for a Cup of Joe, please, or for Puck It with Joe. Check out Cup of Joe coming out right away. I can't talk, you guys. I need more coffee this morning. It has been a lot of shows already today. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the hardwood. The Madden Quickie will be up, so head on over to the SportsGrid app for the Madden Quickie here shortly. And I know I'm laughing at myself, you guys. I talk to myself all day. Sometimes the words just don't come out. Stay tuned for the Madden Quickie. The Cup of Joe will be posted as well right away here. Let's go, you guys. Let's make some freaking money. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate you guys so very much.